Hello students, Proverbs chapter 2 verse 6 says, "For the Lord gives wisdom, out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding." It means wisdom is a gift from a generous God, and every word he speaks is full revelation and becomes a fountain of understanding within you. With this thought, I am going to start today's class. Before that, I would like to appreciate everyone because you all submitted your classwork on time. Today we are entering into the new lesson, arrays. This lesson is covered by following contents. There are introduction of arrays, need for arrays, types of arrays, searching in one-dimensional arrays, sorting, arrays versus objects, advantages and disadvantages. Today I am going to teach introduction of arrays, need for arrays and types of arrays. Why we need arrays? Java offers a reference data type called arrays. So already we know there are two types of data types. One is primitive, another one is reference. What is a reference? The another name of reference data type is composite data type. Reference data types in Java are those which contains reference or addresses of dynamically created objects. So what is a reference data type? Reference data types in Java are those which contains reference or address of dynamically created objects. These are not predefined like primitive data types. Next one is an array can hold several values of the same type. We can store several values of the same data type. It means we cannot store multiple data type in an array. We can store similar data type only in an array. Next point is arrays consist of contiguous memory locations. What is the meaning of contiguous memory locations? Contiguous memory location means arrays allow fast accessing of elements. Its memory size is fixed and cannot be changed during the runtime. It is the meaning of contiguous memory location. Next one is arrays can have data items of simple types like integer or float, or even of user defined types like structures and objects. So arrays can have the primitive types or composite types. Composite type means reference types. Now let's see about arrays. What is array and what is the definition of arrays? Why do we need arrays? I explained this concept with one example. Let us consider a situation where we have to write a program which can accept marks of 50 students of a class, calculate their average marks, and then calculate the difference of each student's mark with average marks. See here, we have to accept 50 students marks, and then we have to calculate their average marks, and we have to calculate their difference. Calculate the difference of each student's marks with average marks. So this is the process we have to do. To do this, if we solve this problem by making use of variables, we need 50 variables. We have to store first number, second number, third number. Each numbers we have to store in different variables. So likewise, to store the marks we need up to 50 variables. Likewise, we have to store the difference also. To store the difference we need again 50 variables. So totally we need 50 variables to store students marks, one variable to store average marks, and 50 more variables to store difference mark. In all we need 101 variables, each having a different name. How many variables we need? 101 variable, 50 variables for marks, one variable for average, and again the 50 variables for difference. So totally we need 101 variable, each having a different name. So now remembering and managing these 101 variables is not an easy task, and it will make the program to complex and ununderstandable program. To avoid this, we can use the array. So, but if we declare two arrays each having 50 elements, one for students' marks and another for different marks, and one variable for storing average marks. Now we only have to remember three names. One is two arrays for names and the variable name, and the elements of these arrays will be referred to as array name. Okay, referred to as array name, where n is the element number is the array. Writing such a program would not only be simple but also very easy to code and understand. Therefore, arrays are very much useful in a case where quite many elements of the same types need to be stored and processed. Here these all elements, the marks are elements and difference also elements. So to store the elements, we can use one variable that is same name, that variable having the same name, that is marks. All variable name is same. It has same variable, but it will store in the different index. Okay, that index also known as subscript. The first element stored in the subscript 0 and the second element stored in the subscript 1. So here totally 50 elements. Okay, the subscript start from the number 0 and end with the number n minus 1. N means number of elements. So how many elements here? Totally 50 elements. So 50 minus 1 what? 49. So the first subscript is 0 and the last subscript is n minus 1, 49 for 50 elements. Okay. So array elements stored in the inside the square brackets. Okay, inside the square brackets we can store the array elements, array indexes. So marks 1, here is the marks 1. So 0 represents the first element, 1 represents the second element. Likewise, marks is a variable and 2 represents the third element. Here marks is a variable, 3 represents the fourth element. Likewise up to 50 elements. So last element is size minus 1. So 50 minus 1 is what? 49. Okay. So the element numbers in square bracket, elements numbers in the square bracket are called subscripts or indices. Subscript or index or indices. Likewise, to store the difference, we can use the variable diff. To store the element, we can use the index. The first index is 0. To store second element, 1. To store the third element, 2. To store the fourth element, 3. The index is 3 up to 50. So the last element is end with n minus 1. So what is the last element? 50 minus 1, 49. Okay. So to store the marks, we can use the variable, same variable marks, but the indexes are different. The indexes are start from 0 and end with 49. First element stored in the index 0 and the last element stored in the index 49. Likewise, the different elements, 50 elements are stored in the same variable diff. The first element stored in the index 0 and the last element stored in the index 49. Okay, we can differentiate the elements with their index, but these all elements having the same variable. So what is an array? Array is also known as dimensional array. What is a dimensional? We are going to stress on optimizing the memory space for effective storage of data with the help of the logical structure called dimensional array. So what is a dimensional array? A dimensional array is a structure created in the memory to represent a number of values. Values may be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. The same data type, that is integer, same data type with the variables having the same variable name. So the variable name is what? A. Okay, all elements having the same variable, that is common variable name, that is what? A. As the same variable name along with different subscripts, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the different elements stored in the common name with different subscripts. This is called a dimensional array. So what is a dimensional array? Dimensional array is also called a subscripted variable because the variable name is same but the subscript is different. Okay, we can find out the elements with their subscript number. Okay, this is about array. See the types of arrays. Arrays are also known as dimensional arrays. These arrays are classified into two types. One is single dimensional array, another one is double dimensional array. In this video you can learn about single dimensional array. Now let's see about single dimensional array. To understand a single dimensional array, you can imagine a train named Vygay Express. It has a number of compartments which are numbered as 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Hence, Vygay will indicate the second compartment of Vygay train. Okay. Similarly, single dimensional array is a structure that is represented along x-axis by using a number of variables with the same name having different subscripts. So what is a single dimensional array? See here, array is also known as dimensional array and single dimensional array also known as single subscripted variable. Okay, because each element of array is represented by using common variable name along with a single subscript. Okay, in single dimensional array we can see single subscript, but in the double dimensional array we can see double subscripts. Okay, single subscripts represents either rows or column, but in double dimensional subscript we can see both rows and columns. This is the difference between single dimensional and double dimensional array. Now let's see the syntax of single dimensional array. This is a syntax. Type means data type. We can give any name for array, and this square brackets to represents the subscript or index. We have to use new keyword to access the memory space, and again type, data type you have to call here, and you have to mention the size of the elements, how many elements you're going to access. You have to mention the size of the elements here, and you can write in this method also. You can write this type or this type. Okay, type square bracket array name is equal to new type size. Okay, both anyone you can use here. Okay, now you see the example. Type, here type is integer and square bracket array name is test equal to new keyword, and types again integer. The size of the elements, size of the array is what? 5. So totally here we are going to use how many elements? 5 elements. Okay, so first element is 10, second element is 20, third element 30, fourth one 40, and last one is 50. See here, these all elements having the same type, that is what? Int, but it having the common name. All elements having the same data type integer, and the common name is what? Test. Common name is what? test, but it has different subscript. Okay, the first element stored in the subscript 0, second one stored in the subscript 1, third one 2, fourth one 3, and last one is 5. So subscripts start from 0 and end with what? N minus 1, because number of elements are 5. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay, so this is the syntax to declare the single dimensional array. This is the example for the single dimensional array. Now let's see one small hint in the single dimensional array. That is, the data type of array elements is known as a base type. What is a base type? The data type of the array elements. What is the data type here? Integer. So the data type of an array elements is also known as what? Base type. Now let's see one example program in the single dimensional array. Now let's see one example program in single dimensional array. The program question is, write a program to input and store roll numbers, names and marks in 3 subjects of n number of students in 5 single dimensional array and display the remark based on average marks as given below. The maximum marks in the subjects are 100. Okay, the average marks 85 to 100 excellent, 75 to 84 distinction, and 60 to 74 first class, and 40 to 59 pass, less than 40 is poor. Okay, so here we are going to store the marks for the 5 people. Okay, for this we can use the single dimensional array. Let's get into the program. Okay, my class is single. My class name is single because this is the example program for the single dimensional array. Okay, first I am going to declare the package util dot asterisk. Okay, now I am going to declare the class. Class is single, and now I am opening the class. I am declaring the method public static void display. I am declaring one argument, that is int n. Okay, n represents number of elements. Now I am opening the method scanner class. Scanner s is equal to new scanner of system dot in. Okay, and now I'm going to declare the array variables. I'm going to declare the array variables because we need to store the roll numbers, names, and 3 subject marks. Okay, then we have to get the total of the marks, and we have to find out the average marks, then the evaluation of the marks. Okay, so I'm going to declare the variables. First variable is name, string name, new string of n, because number of people, number of students, n number of students. Next array variable is roll number. Okay, this one data type is integer to represent roll number r number. So this is also array variable is equal to new int, here also number of roll number, n number of roll numbers. Okay, next 3 marks. Okay, we can get one by one. Integer marks 1, to declare the variables marks 2, marks 3. Okay, from the first, see here I declared the class and I declared the function, that is display. I called only one argument, that is n. This is the size of the array. Okay, now the first array variable is name. Okay, here the size of the name is n. Okay, here 5 means the size of the array is 5. 10 means the size of the array is 10. So we can store n number of names. Okay, next roll number, next variable is roll number. So this size also n, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. Okay, now we have to get the details of the students. Okay, for this, to store the details of the students one by one, we have to call the loop, for loop. In the for loop, we can store the details one by one. I is equal to start from 0 and end with n number of elements. Now increment, one by one we have to call the details. Now we can use the scanner class, already used. We have to call the name, roll number, marks. Enter the name, name. So in I we stored 0 to n. Okay, directly we can call the variable I is equal to n. What is the scanner class object is s dot next line, because string to call the string function, string variable, we need to use the next line function in the scanner class. So next line function used to call the string values. Likewise, you have to accept roll number, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3. Okay, so I accessed the name, I call the roll number, and marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. Name is a string. To call the string, we can use the next line function from the scanner class. Roll number is an integer, so I used the function nextInt. Marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 also integer values, so I call the functions nextInt. Now I am going to do the calculation. So int total is equal to marks 1 of I plus marks 2 of I plus marks 3 of I. Next, average. Average result may be floating value, so I call the data type double. Average is equal to total divided by 3 marks. This is double data type, so I call 3.0. Okay, now we have to analyze the result. Okay, For that we can use if else functions, if else statements. If what is the first condition? The average mark is 85 to 100, means that is excellent. So the marks should be above 85 and below 100. To call that method, average is above is equal to 85, and here we are using AND operator. AND operator represents both statements should be true. Okay, and average less than equal to 100. It means AND operator represents both conditions should true. Okay, the first condition is average is greater than is equal to 85 and average is less than is equal to 100. These two conditions should be true. Okay, if both conditions are true means it will display the statement excellent. Okay, likewise we have to call the conditions. For second, you have to call average is greater than is equal to 75 and less than equal to 84. Likewise, average is greater than is equal to 60 and less than is equal to 74. Then greater than is equal to 40 and less than equal to 59. At last, this less than is equal to 40 means poor. So you have to call these all conditions one by one. See here, the first statement, if statement, average is less than is equal to 85 and average is greater than is equal to 100 means excellent. Okay, both conditions should be true. Likewise, below 75, above 84. It means, sorry, above 75, below 84 means distinction, and above 60 and below 74 first class, and above 40, below 59 pass, below 40 poor. Okay, now my computation process is over. I'm going to close the function and the class. Now I'm going to execute the program. See, I have no syntax errors. Okay, I enter student details, enter the name, roll number, marks, so this is excellent mark, and next roll number 1 or 2, the marks is okay 13 and it's a very poor mark. Okay, so according to this, see the question, 85 to 100 na excellent mark, so we can see the excellent mark, and less than 40 we can see the poor mark. Okay, according to the condition, we got the result. Okay, this is the example program for single dimensional array. Now let's see some recapitulation questions from this video. First question is, what are arrays? Second one, how do you declare single dimensional array? Third one is, how do you create memory spaces for single dimensional array? And fourth one, how do you initialize single dimensional array? Explain with examples. Next question is, what is the difference between these two statements, and what will be the output of the following program? Just copy down all the question answers in your classwork, and you have to copy down the program which one taught in this video. Okay, you copy down the program and then copy down all 6 question answers in your classwork and submit in the GCR, Google Classroom. Last week many of them submitted their classwork on time. Okay, greetings to you all. And these are the names and the marks. The maximum mark is 10. 20 of them scored full mark, and some of the incomplete names also here. Okay, you have to complete before next Tuesday. Okay, thank you students.